back to another episode of Rail Industry Connected. I'm Dan Clark, and thank you for joining us. Today, we turn our attention to the rolling stock sector. Over recent years, the UK train operating companies have undergone significant fleet modernisation programmes, and today, the rolling stock industry employs over 30,000 people in the UK, contributing around £2 billion to the economy. But with fleet modernisation orders coming to an end, what's next for this sector? I'm joined by Kevin Lane, who's the organiser for Rolling Stock Networking. This event, which is held in July every year, brings companies working within Rolling Stock into one place to do business together and is one of the driving forces in generating new business for Rolling Stock companies. Kevin, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to be on this podcast.
No, thank you very much. Obviously, Rolling Stock Networking has been, without giving you loads of plaudits, has been a huge success over the last so many years. I mean, I've attended all of them, and they've been they've always been very, very busy, full of exhibitors. How long has it been running for now? And obviously, how many people have you got coming to next year?
Well, Rolling Stock Networking, or RSN as we now prefer to call it, is in its sixth edition. You're right, it's on an upward trajectory, and the first show was in 2019. We had a bit of a hiatus in 2020 when, of course, COVID hit us, and
Of
thankfully
course.
that's long in the past. Everything seems to be going so well for this year. We've got 150 plus exhibitors already signed up. The show sold out 9 months before the show, which I think proves its popularity. It does what it says on the tin. So we're absolutely thrilled that to be in this position quite so early.
Well, I think one of the things that kind of makes it stand out itself is it's not to, a lot of the other events do really well, but obviously, you are a railway person, aren't you? You've been in the industry for quite a while yourself.
Yes.
And it's not from a media point of view. So, it's in some ways it's not got that kind of media spin to it that maybe other events might do. So, do you think that's been a catalyst for the success of the event?
I think it has. I mean, you've been very kind saying I've been in the industry for a while. It's actually 47 years. So it's been quite a long journey, and I've had my career, and it's probably time to pay a little bit back. So we do have the advantage within the entire team, which includes Kevin Parker and Susan Lane, the ability to look at the industry from the supplier's perspective. And I think that's
Mm,
important because when we look at what the exhibitors are there for, they're there to win business. They're there to find success. They're there to build relationships, and that's what's so important. And that's why we've designed the show to be in the format that it is. And I think you're right. It does keep on growing. I mean, last year we had over 2,000 people come and visit the show. So you could really summarize it to say it's quite a small show that really looks like quite a big show. So we're absolutely thrilled with the progress we've got for 2025, and we're really looking forward to it.
And I think obviously you get subscribed from an exhibitor point of view very, very quickly. What value are exhibitors getting from something like this?
Well, the value they get is the fact that it's a low cost event. Yes, it does have carpet. The stands are provided with an electrical supply. It does look like a really big show, and we try to add that level of quality. Another thing is that it doesn't matter whether you're a huge multinational or you're a one man band, your stand is going to look the same. So everybody has the opportunity to shine. It's an equal platform. And in addition to that, we actually provide quite a level of promotion during the course of the year in the run up to the show.
Mm.
We are very active on LinkedIn. We actively promote our exhibitors through the channels that we've got and with companies like yours. So we provide more than just a trade show. It's kind of like an annual marketing journey that's all summarised within the 1 day networking event on the 3rd of July in Derby.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think obviously with events, it's a bit of a difficult one because you do from a business perspective, you get a lot of companies and ahhing about which events they go to and whether they should include it in their marketing budget and what value they get from it. Obviously, the rolling stock sector as a whole, at the moment, obviously, as I mentioned, all the train operating companies, well, majority of them have gone through a massive fleet modernization kind of process, haven't they? Whether they're obviously, kitting out some of their older trains, but also bringing in new fleets as well. Um, and obviously, that order book's coming to an end now, so you can see it is a bit of a difficult time for the rolling stock sector as a whole. So, what do you think RSN's going to bring to that, and how do you think it fits into the industry going forward?
Well, it's a very interesting question because we, having been in the industry as long as I have, you've seen the ups, you've seen the downs, you've seen the cyclic
Mm,
nature of the industry, and it always comes right in the end. What we have to remember is if you look on government websites and in the press, there are many of the train operators, whether they are in government control or not, that require new trains. There's a list that is really quite enormous of new trains that have got to be ordered. So that will all come through in the pipeline, and there are projects in progress. But one of the important things to remember is that with the government deciding that they're going to nationalise the passenger side of the railway, they're not nationalising the freight side of the railway. But if we take a look at the passenger side of the railway, the trains still have to run. Passengers
mm.
have got expectations. Punctuality is very important. The condition of the train, the technology that's in the train, the services that the passenger expects all need to be worked on in the period and they all require investment. And that investment can only drive the supply chain. So it's a case of being patient because um, companies really need to position themselves to take advantage of the growth that will occur in passenger rail transport. We've got new railways being built at the moment, East West Rail, for instance. There will be cascades of rolling stock. The government will have to look at the whole population of the fleets that they are effectively taking over in one form or another and say, well, where can this best be used? Does it need rebranding? Does it need a new interior? Does it need a repurposing for a different area? And we have to remember, of course, that trains, just like cars, require maintenance every day, and all of this work that occurs on a day-to-day basis is going on every day in every depot. So I'm quite upbeat about the future of rail in the UK and not at all disheartened by the changes that are occurring because we've seen them all before.
That's good. I think you're right as well. Sometimes maybe everyone's a bit too guilty to kind of neglect the freight side of things as well. We always look at trains being, carrying passengers about, and actually, there's a huge market from a freight perspective as well. But then actually, when you look at from a sustainability point of view as well, the cogs of sustainability are turning so quickly nowadays that new innovations are coming out, and obviously there's retrofitting that to stock and everything else. So as you say, that there is a lot of opportunity and a lot of kind of like markets for that.
Yeah,
So
you're absolutely
yeah,
right, Dan.
mm,
Yeah, if I could just interject temporarily, we've just seen the government sign up to a new net zero target. The only way that can be achieved is by changing some of the traction propulsion systems on the trains, making those that are still diesel more efficient, the use of higher technology, exhaust technology. All of these companies are RSN and waiting to see people. So, the future of the industry is at the Rolling Stock Networking Show, and exploring it has got to be beneficial to achieving government targets and to modifying the fleets to achieve the demands of the future policy.
I completely agree with that. And I think sometimes as well, especially in the UK, we can be quite insular in a way that we only look within what's happening within the UK. I mean, obviously, from that fleet modernization perspective, it's actually given us a great infrastructure for developing new trains in the UK now that obviously, is going on one of the world's most complicated railways. So, I'm guessing there's a lot of opportunities from an international perspective as well for building trains in the UK, not for the UK, but actually for European railways, for Indian railways, wherever in the world.
That's absolutely true. I mean, if you go back in time, Great Britain or England or whatever you want to call it, was the workshop of the world for the rail industry.
Mm.
And we now have a lot of investment. We've got the Gould facility, we've got CAF investing in Wales, we've got Stadler up in the north. We've got all of these companies seeing a market and taking the opportunity to invest in people and facilities. So, yeah, the marketplace will be satisfied. And of course, if you've got a facility, it makes sense to look to where else that facility could be used to serve. So, yeah, you're quite right. Yeah, the international market is absolutely huge, and we've got many developing companies all investing in railways. You've only got to look in the news, and every couple of days there's some new rolling stock somewhere in the world being
Mm.
ordered, and it is a growth market because at the end of the day, countries cannot be completely dominated by road transport.
No, and I've always seen the argument that if you switch, you have that modal shift away from taking lorries off the road onto rail, that contributes towards a significant environmental reduction. So obviously building that capacity and building the capabilities on the railways is absolutely essential at this time.
Right.
You've mentioned some huge companies in there that are obviously now established in the UK. Um, does RSN attract those kind of companies, or is it? I mean, obviously, I've seen a few there when I've been there over time, but what opportunities are there from an SME perspective?
Well, there are always opportunities, and the great thing is that rolling stock networking draws in an awful lot of people that visit from the new builders. I mean, on
Mm.
stands this year, we've got Stadler, we've got CAF, we've got Alstom in the Meet the Buyer area. We've got Siemens Mobility taking a stand with their traction division. So the big players are all taking quite an interest in RSN, and that can only help because it makes them available to the SMEs, to the entrepreneurs that visit. But the Meet the Buyer is very specific in providing high quality meetings between the larger players and the exhibitors. So they get a slot to actually have a quality conversation that's not just based upon a fantasy opportunity, because the buyers actually specify in advance the areas of the market that they're looking to fulfill. So there's a matching process. So the exhibitor that has got a particular thing to offer is matched with the buyer at the company concerned, and it makes for a more meaningful conversation than just a quick meeting at a stand. So this really adds some value, and we're really grateful for the support of the big players.
And I think that's always tends to be a reason for success at these types of events because it isn't obviously you do have you've got great footfall at these events anyway, and you will pick up conversations along the lines. As you say, some of these companies are looking for specific things, but I think actually doing that matchmaking process really does make a difference for these businesses, doesn't it? It gets them literally a foot in the door, and obviously they then got to force their way in. But no, that's really successful. Well, I can see it's really successful from that point of view.
Well, I've
Um,
always said that having a long history in sales, that people buy people, they become comfortable with them, they build a relationship. The relationship leads to an opportunity, and then you become a longer term client. So RSN has got the purpose of bringing people together specifically for that purpose.
no, I think that's absolutely right. Um, so obviously, as we say at the moment, rolling stock companies, whether they're SMEs, larger companies, are looking at different innovations and ways that they can kind of make things more efficient, optimize rolling stock. What kind of innovations are we likely to see in July at RSN?
Well, RSN is absolutely packed with companies that bring innovation to the industry, whether it be digital technology, communications technology, passenger counting technology. Um, there are also entrepreneurs. Orange Train Wash have got their environmentally friendly train wash on offer. Um, we have a number of robots. Would you believe? I mean, we had last year. We had Pepper and Scotty. Pepper is Train FX's robot. It can communicate with passengers to give them wayfaring advice in a multiplicity of languages. And the Beaver Rail robot, I've forgotten his name now, Scotty, yeah,
Scotty, yeah.
is a really useful maintenance tool. So it's able to carry out maintenance inspections and provide input to systems to help people to maintain trains more efficiently. So yes, we've got a lot of innovation, and as you can imagine, the show draws in a lot of SMEs and entrepreneurs, and this is where the new ideas really come from in the industry that drive the railway of the future.
No, you're right there, and I think it's really important. It's interesting from that robotics point of view because we've always had this fear over years that robots will take over and reduce job opportunities and things like that. But actually, you can see a real benefit from that point of view. You know, you talk about Pepper there from a passenger point of view. It's really interesting that obviously, you know, we live in a globalized world now. Anyways, we're very much in a multicultural society. The opportunity to have for people to have that level of communication in their own language as well, where they feel most comfortable, is really important. But then, as you say, from a maintenance point of view, you know, sometimes how much time that's going to reduce in uh, discovering faults and then obviously looking at ways of rectifying faults and things like that. Maintenance time must be optimized so much, so you can really kind of see the benefit in that. Is there anything from an AI perspective as well? I mean, obviously AI seems to be a hot topic across all different sectors at the moment, but is there anything from an AI point of view that you're looking at this year?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, AI is really a driving force behind a number of the innovations, and we've got quite a number of companies that do have AI built into their product. An example would be Infinev EDI. Their passenger counting system will be on the entrance to the show. Um, it's always been a very accurate system, but visitors will be able to see themselves on screens walking in, walking out. It counts bags. It really is advanced equipment and has been made more accurate by the application of AI on top of the existing algorithms that have been used in the industry for many years. So AI really is lending a hand, but also in maintenance predictability, because um, taking you can imagine a train produces a huge amount of data, and how do you analyze that and turn that into a real maintenance instruction for a tradesperson to go to the train and say the systems are telling me there's something wrong in this area, and it's this and this, and that points me to have a good look in this particular area. So it can really make a difference by reducing the amount of maintenance downtime that train operators or freight operators see. So yes, AI is very much on the agenda at RSN 2025.
Brilliant. Have you seen that throughout your career? I mean, I feel you'd say you've been in the industry for more than 40 odd years. How quickly has technology advanced in that time? I mean, you know, back when you look in it was the British Rail days when you were starting, weren't it? So
Yeah, that's
how have
right.
you
I
seen
mean,
that growth?
initially it was a traditional growth of technology. If you can imagine, machining and production of trains was all done by hand. Things were measured into place. Now we've got a lot better jigging. We've got lasers to position components. We've got robots that make sure that things are made with much more accuracy. We've got CNC machining, CAD CAM, all of the benefits that that era brought. But we're now moving into a new era where all of the computerized systems already exist, but how do we take them to the next level? And applying AI is one of those things that can be done.
Yeah, that I think that's right, and it is a necessary component now going forward. I think for this industry. So yeah, fantastic. It's nice actually from this perspective that the show is obviously so firmly focused on rolling stock as well, because I think a lot of the time, especially when you look across the industry as a whole, there is a significant focus on infrastructure. So it's quite nice that obviously there is that focus. So how have you managed to capture that audience as well as you have?
I think that we do an awful lot of marketing. I mean, obviously, we partner with your company, and
Mm.
we use LinkedIn to great effect. But I think you touched on a point earlier that we've got experience in the rail industry. We know which companies would be interested in the exhibitors. We search them down, we connect with them in LinkedIn, we make sure they're fully updated. Our LinkedIn page is updated every other day. Our website is always kept up to date, and we provide information to the prospective visitors to enthuse them to come. In addition to that, we also issue a show preview that's issued online. It provides full detail of the exhibitors in terms of a list of what of the companies that are attending, a floor plan, and it helps visitors to say, "Look, I really should be at that show." And furthermore, I can plan in advance and I can say, "I need to see this company, this company, this
Mm.
company, and these are the reasons why we need to make that and build that relationship." So I think that level of marketing that's primarily done for the show, but is also in the benefit of the exhibitors, is one of the ways that we draw the footfall and get the engagement that we do.
So it's obviously a few months away yet, but it will come around quickly. How can people get involved? How can people keep up to date with RSN as a whole?
The easy way really is to follow us on LinkedIn, to follow Rail Industry Connect. We provide a lot of information through those channels on a regular basis, and also keep in touch with the news page on our website. Um, Around about 2 months before the show, we release the show preview, which provides the full information that I mentioned before. On the show day, we issue the show guide in hard copy, and of course, there's an awful lot of information building on the website about the other events that will accompany the exhibition. So people can learn about the conference that we're building. They can learn more about the meet the buyer. They can learn more about the exhibitors and perhaps research where these exhibitors might fit their forward going plans. It's all on the website, all on LinkedIn, and it's well worth a look.
And visiting's free as well, isn't it? So I mean, that's always an added bonus. The only cost really is your time, I guess. So that works quite nice.
Yeah,
So
we're
yeah, obviously,
very grateful that we've got parking's free as well. So
lovely.
and the show is centrally located. It's easy to get to. It's 10 minutes from the railway station on foot. And we're always told by exhibitors that they like the great central location that the show provides.
Brilliant. So, just to close it off here, RSN will be at Derby Arena on the 3rd of July. As I say, Derby, such a centrally located railway town, absolutely perfect for that. Obviously just near to Derby County's ground, Pride Park. So, um, as you've discussed, Kevin, it's brilliant to be working with you. I'm delighted to be able to offer discounted packages to the RSN exhibitors for news items and what have you. So obviously in the coming days we'll release that, which is absolutely brilliant. So if you are an exhibitor at RSN, please get in touch, and we'll see how we can maximise your exposure ahead of the event. Um, so yeah, absolutely. I think events like this are always really, really important for the industry. It really, you need these networking opportunities, and not necessarily in a very formal atmosphere as such. I wouldn't. I mean, it makes it sound bad, but it's a nice, friendly atmosphere that's created, and I think because it's over that one day, and people just can interact in a decent atmosphere. It does contribute towards some good business. So, Kevin, thank you very much for joining us today, and
You're
thank you for
welcome.
joining for another episode of Rail Industry Connected. You can view past and future episodes of Rail Industry Connected on YouTube or listen to them on your way into work on Spotify. And of course, you can connect with other rail businesses and the industry on www.railindustryconnect.co.uk. If you're interested in visiting RSN, and I recommend you do, because as I say, as Kevin's highlighted, there's absolute shed load of innovation going on and plenty of opportunities. You can visit Kevin's website at rsnevents.co.uk. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.